Hi, how you doing today? My name is Arthur Jernigan, and I'm here with Miss Yaya Diamond, and I'm actually going to talk a little bit about my book called "Reclaiming My Peace."
Yeah! Hey! Yaya diamonds, dream chasers, we won't wait. Subscribe today before it's too late. Inspiration flowing just like the breeze. Chase your dreams and feel at
Be good. Be very good.
I'm being good. I'm being good. I swear I'm being good. I don't know. I'm trying to be good, but I'm telling you, this program is amazing and it has saved me. And we have real people with real dreams and real results right here at Dream Chasers Radio, where we are inspiring you to go after your dreams and your goals by showing you people who have gone before and done it. And it's doable and you can do it. Yes. So, I have Mr. Jernigan on the show today, and he's going to be talking about his book. I'm telling you, I absolutely love the title of this book, Reclaiming My Peace. Who needs to do that? I do. I do. And we all do. We need to reclaim our peace. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I want to welcome him to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you there, Miss Diamond. I'm really excited to be here, and I think hopefully I can bring something to the table and help and share with some other people.
Oh, yes, please, please do. Please do. Yes, 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 yes. So let's go back because everybody has a backstory when they realized that they needed to write whatever they've written, whether it be a real book, like not everybody, but let me go back and
Mhm.
say this. The real book meaning true stories or fiction or children's books or anything. What was the deciding factor to make you decide this is what I want to do and this is what I have to do now?
Wow, that's a great question. I can tell you it started with a lot of things. The main thing was I was really one of the things I was going through a lot of challenges in my life. I was really going through, if you call it heartbreak, disappointment, frustration. And then I found myself really struggling for a while, trying to figure my way forward. So after a few nights, and I'm gonna say probably about 6 months worth of nights,
Mm.
I couldn't sleep. I was just waking up all times of the day and night, and really having a lot to say and nobody to say it to. So I started out writing some notes to myself, and would find myself at 3 o'clock in the morning on the computer, typing in some thoughts, and waking up in the morning and trying to put them all together and make a cohesive thought and make sure I can get it out of my system. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I used to hear the story about people write what they call it journaling, and I didn't really put a whole lot of stock into that. I didn't really try it before myself, but when I started writing this book, that's actually what I was doing. I was actually journaling my feelings, journaling what I was thinking, trying to make sense out of it, and at the end of the day, really just trying to get myself to a place where I could reclaim my peace again.
Mm, mm, mm. There's a lot of people out there that are going through that, and they're going through that moment where they find themselves journaling. And you, like you said, you had a lot of things to say and no one to say it to. So, was this a moment where you started to reclaim your peace, or did you even know you were doing that?
Well, actually, I there was a lot of things going on. So one of the things I understood was when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't recognize myself. Uh,
Mm,
and after going through all the trauma that divorce puts you in, I realized that I really wasn't myself. I couldn't understand where I was at. So I had to do a few things. One, I had to dig down in myself. I had to do a really self analysis again. I had to think about where I once was, and then I was trying to figure out, hey, who can I talk to about this? And that's when it really kind of hit me. When I looked around, there really wasn't, if you will, a platform for men in general, but more specifically, black men. We have a tendency to internalize a lot and feel like we're out on the island all by ourselves, and
mhm.
there's really nobody to talk to. There's nothing you can speak to. There's uh, not a group of people, if you will, that I can go on YouTube and pull up a name and they'll say, "Hey, men, here you can come into this particular group." There's a lot of self support out there for women. On the other hand, uh,
Yeah.
and women tend to coalesce around one another, regardless of what their fault in the trauma is. They
Mhm.
just coalesce and they support each other and they pat each other on the back and uh, hey girl, we got you, regardless. And that's where I kind of fell into this book. I really started thinking, you know what, I need to be at least write down not only my thoughts, but if I could try to be an inspiration to other men to understand that their feelings that they're having are valid, that their experiences are real, and it's okay to talk about them. It's okay to put it out there,
Yeah.
and find that you'll find that other men are also in the same posture as you. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of where I was at. I said, let me go ahead and, if nothing else, let me go ahead and tell my story and share my experiences. And maybe it'll be something that you can see in yourself, or maybe it'll spark you thinking and looking at your experiences and decide to talk about them or share them.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of men don't wanna seem like they're vulnerable. They don't wanna seem like they're weak,
Hmm.
God forbid, you know? But no, I understand that men hold things in and they're very quiet, especially when they get emotional or when things just aren't going right. They get kinda quiet, and so, you know, uh, uh, it's really concerning to me that you didn't have that support system. Like, you're right, us girls, no matter what, I mean, I could be coming from left field. My girls in right field will be like, "Look, we got her. Let's go get her." You know what I mean? Because we gotta bring her over here because she tripping and we gotta get her, you know? And so that's something that women do, but men are silent. What was the what was the thing that affected you in your marriage staying silent emotionally and spiritually? And then now the divorce and all that. What was that like for you?
Well, that was kind of a tough thing, to be honest. It's really kind of a struggle when you
Mm,
in a relationship and you turn around and you actually realize that the person that you thought you were going to build your life with, and the one you thought you were going to take it to the end with, has other plans. Has they've decided for one reason or the other. They feel that they no longer want to stay in the process. They no longer want to continue.
mhm,
When that happens, it's really tough on men because men are kind of resilient. We kind of expect to have ups and downs in a relationship, and for most men, they're going to hang on as long as they can because they
mhm,
believe that it can turn around if they just try harder, if they I don't know what the
mm,
word is, smile harder, buy more things, whatever it is, you feel like that's going to get you back to where you are. And I came to understand after a period of time that I looked at my ex and I realized that the train had already left the station. She was already moving on with her life, and the only one that didn't know was me.
mm.
And once I understood that, it's a hard thing to accept. And
Yeah,
once I accepted it as, hey, this is the way it is, then then it's nothing else to do but try to find yourself again. Can you reclaim your peace? How do you move on? Because leaving, a family, you have to start all over again. And
yeah,
how do you do that? Particularly if there's like no real major support for you. So you have to start, digging down in yourself. And then for me, spiritually, I kind of decided to reclaim my peace by, uh, seeking the Most High again. I had to
mhm,
really seek and dig down and pray and uh, hope that I could get through this. And I realized that, the Most High will meet you no matter where you are. He's going to meet you there and he can bring you through it. You just have to be willing to admit that you can't do it by yourself, admit that you need his help to get you through this process. And then, if you will, say, stop being stubborn and just go that route. So that's what I chose to do.
yeah, some of my girls might be mad at me. They just might be mad at me for talking to you. How could you? How could you talk to him? He probably didn't listen. He probably was just he was probably that. A lot of that stuff doesn't work on some women. You know, a lot of that typical stuff that works on most women doesn't work on all women. And especially when they decide, I'm out of here. I'm done. I this is not what I signed up for. Maybe I'm gonna hurt him, maybe I'm not, but I'm out. And once a woman makes up their mind that they're gone, they're pretty much gone before they even walk out the door. What was it like for you to use the words in your book, boss chick or weaponized feminism?
Well, I've probably over the years I thought about it, and I can give you some examples on one of the things that I understood and I learned quickly.
Mhm,
Women are a little different than men. Men, when you, as an example, make money, men have a tendency to bring it home, and their goal is to provide and share and do whatever they have to do for the family. That's kind of how their focus gets.
mhm.
But women, on the other hand, from my experience and from a lot of men that I've spoken with, the women have a different philosophy on making money. When they make money, it's not our money; it's their money. Their goal is, hey, I've made money and this is mine, and you make money and that's ours. Um,
Wow.
so I kind of started seeing that, little things, and if they have any modicum of success, and if they feel they're in a place where they believe that they've surpassed you, or they believe that you're no longer in their league, if you will. I'm making more money than you, and you're not fitting the bill. You're not bringing in as much as I bring in. So therefore, I'm the head of the house now, and a lot of them don't want to listen, if you will, accept any responsibility. And and I thought about this. I said, now if a man did that in his house, if I brought in money and it was just mine, and I didn't think about spending anything for the household, if I just said, I made mine and you just have to figure out how you're going to get yours, that wouldn't work, in a
Right.
relationship. So those are some of the things I experienced. And then, of course, the educational piece, as we know in particular, as a group, Black women are the most educated group in this country, if you will.
Mhm.
Um, but having said that, there's a lot of men with education as well.
Yes.
As for instance, I'm an MBA
Mhm.
myself, and I've gone through college and all that, but that's really not how I define myself.
Mhm.
I define myself as a person, and
Yeah.
and my goal is to relate to someone that emotionally we can bond, mentally we can bond, spiritually
Mhm.
we can bond. And she doesn't have to have an education. She doesn't have to be an MBA. She
Yeah.
can be high school. It doesn't matter. My goal is to bond with her and blend for us to build that family. And I think that's a big difference, because I've seen where a lot of women, when they get a degree, they're like, I don't need you. I have more education than you. I need to find somebody on my level. I hear that a lot in the women groups. I can't deal with him because he's not educated, or he's not making the six figures that I want. So I can't talk to him. He's not making enough. Um, and at the end of the day, for men, all those things are really irrelevant. For men, we don't select our women based on how much education they have.
Mhm.
We don't base it on how much money they're making. We're actually looking. Men are visual, first of all.
Yeah.
And when they see something that they believe they can connect with, then they try to blond. They try to have a conversation, and
Mhm.
then, if you will, that qualifying conversation piece takes place. And it's really seeking somebody that you can be compatible with, somebody that you're willing to spend your last for. When I think for women, they have a different perspective. They're always looking to, if you will, step up or improve or find somebody better, somebody making more, somebody that has more things. And that's a tough thing to really relate to.
I feel for you. I really do. Because you've been looking in the wrong spot, darling. I have no idea who you found, but it wasn't my girls don't do that. Like, my people that I hang out with, we don't do that. I've never said that that's my money and that's our money. I've always said that's our money.
Well, I've
Um,
learned from
so
experience on that. I mean,
yeah,
we started out talking the same things,
Right.
my relationship, but it's nothing like all of a sudden a windfall comes into play. As an example, we were both entrepreneurs setting businesses, and I remember when my ex, her business was actually taken off for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did on mine, I just kind of put mine to the side and supported hers and helped her build her business.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to talk about in the beginning, this is our business. But what I noticed is when the checks started coming in, um, the sharing of the books with me didn't happen. The bank account, how much was in there, didn't happen. Only thing I was able to do was if the check came in, can you sign this and put this in the account for me? And I did that. But there wasn't no. This is our business now. Let's talk about how much we can spend. And then when the money was made, it wasn't a question where she came and sat down with me and said, "Okay, hey, how can I help us get together with this? Let me share this money with you." No, her
Mm-hmm.
focus was on, I have some things I want to do, some plans that I've had in my head that I wanted to do with money when I make money, and that's where the money went. It didn't go to me. It wasn't like, matter of fact, the only thing I got out of it, I remember I got a loan at one point in my relationship. Here, let me loan you some money that I
What?
expect back. Yeah, out of that money. So that's kind of where that went. It's like, okay, I'm gonna loan you this couple thousand here, whatever it was, and but it's not a gift. It's like you got to pay it back, and I paid it back every last dime. So again, that's what I was experiencing in my relationship. That's what I was seeing. I
Yeah.
remember even sitting down having a conversation. Let me take a look at the books. Let's see how this is doing. Explain this to me. And oh well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about, but later never came. So after a while, you can only beat your head on the wall so long when you realize that the door is closed, and then again you start separating yourself, and that's kind of what happened with me. I was like, okay, I got it. I'm slow. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, so I can figure it out.
Yeah. Feel I feel betrayed in a way. I'm not trying to come at you in the wrong way, but as I'm listening to you, I feel betrayed by certain women who do that. I don't hang out with them purposefully because I'm not of that mind. Everything that comes in should be ours. We should sit down, we should discuss it. If I have a certain bank account that's for this, then we have that and we put money into that. We know how much is in there that we can play around with. But then this account here is for bills. We can't really touch that. And so we work around all of that together, and we've had our ups and downs, but I've never ever ever loaned my husband money and expected it back. It was like, "Oh, well, that's gone."
Right.
You know? It's gone.
That's
It's
what I
like,
would do too. For mine,
yeah.
I never expected that with mine.
Yeah, it's
I
gone.
didn't. We didn't even have a conversation to me on some things. For instance, if I saw something that was needed at the house, be it simple things, be it groceries or whatever, I just pick
Just
it
go
up and
get it.
come back, and that's it's a done deal. It's no conversation
Yeah.
about it.
No conversation.
But I didn't
Exactly.
really see that, and I didn't have that going on in my relationship. Like I said, when the money came in, I didn't even see what came in. I just know that, okay, I bought this. This is what I'm getting this right now. I'm doing this right now. So
Right.
you can kind of pick up the hint,
Wow.
and I did, and like I said, I started understanding that what, I'm on my own in this right here. So
Yeah,
you know.
that's tough. That's tough. So,
Mhm.
how did your faith in God's guidance help you during this healing and restoration journey? Like, after you've kind of gotten out of that situation, I'm going to let you know, and I'm not really sure if you're privy to this, that there are women out there that are not like that. That are not like that. And don't group us with them because we don't want to have no relationship with them. We don't even want to know them. We don't want to hang out with them, and we are not their friends. Just let you know.
Well, that's good to know. That could be encouraging, down the
It
line.
it should be. I hope it is because I do not hang out with people like that because see, I'm not trying to take your interview from you, but I'm trying to kind of help you to understand that women like that, even in another woman's circle, is damaging. They feel like as if not only are they higher than their husbands, but they're higher than me. And that's their whole persona is higher than everybody else. It doesn't matter whether you are their friend or their associate or their husband or their kid, they are higher than you. And there is a certain persona that I do not associate with, and that is one of them. I won't do it because I feel like everybody has something for everybody and we should all be helping each other. And, if I need a hand up, I expect my friends to be there for me just like I'm there for them. And people that have that attitude that are better than you will never ever give you a hand up without a handout. They're
Well,
gonna
well
be they're
spoken.
gonna be like this
Hmm.
later on, like, okay, I gave you a hand up. Where's my money?
Yeah, yeah.
Where's
Well,
where's the payback for this? What
well,
do I get?
I agree with you on that,
Yeah.
and I agree that the betrayal. I've kind of felt that way myself. I mean,
Mhm.
I was not so much angered as I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Once that happened, and it's like, okay, hey, I can loan you some money here, with the expectation of paying back. I mean, once that happens to you, you really wonder why you're trying in this relationship. You start
Exactly.
thinking, why am I really even doing this here?
Yeah.
So I started, and I wasn't planning an exit because even in that situation, I was trying to say, look, um, I didn't want to admit defeat. I didn't want to say that what I see is what I see. I wanted to, if you will, you do that mind manipulation to yourself, and you say, maybe I'm not actually seeing what I'm seeing. Maybe it's just me right now. Let me try to get through this. And so I did. And but then a few other things happened that also kind of got me. One of the things was when I talk about, I mentioned it actually in my book, where I talk about the social media, how much of an
Mhm.
impact that has, and how much of an influence that has, particularly
Mhm.
on the female end.
Right.
My ex had a couple of websites, and one of them was a family website, and of course, I wasn't given access to that. I wasn't added to the family website. And she had her own personal, Facebook account. And, we started out talking about that one. And, I gave her access to mine because it really wasn't no big deal. It's not, I'm not having a lot of conversations with anybody that she can't have access to. I mean, there
Right.
wasn't any questions to me on that one. It's just like, hey, to me, it's just a Facebook page, and
Mhm.
it really wasn't somewhere where I spent a lot of time on it, having conversations with a whole lot of other people. It's more of keeping up with old friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would see some of them on there, and we'd hit each other up. And other than that, that's kind of where it's at. I didn't live on it. I didn't really, like rush home and let me get on my Facebook page and see what's going on. But
Mhm.
on her end, she spent a lot of time on that page, on her pages. And I remember one time I just went through, this is early in relationship. I looked at it and I saw a couple responses to some people that she was talking with that I didn't really know. And I kind of felt that she was talking about me without saying anything about me because we had
Mm.
a little confrontation on that particular subject earlier.
Mhm.
So, being the person that I am, I just had to ask a question. First of all, why are you putting anything about what we're talking about? What's going on in our relationship on Facebook, for one?
Yeah.
And why are you talking about me on Facebook? And of course, her response was, well, I really wasn't talking about you on there. I was just saying in general. Well, I'm not stupid. So, and I can understand and I can read between the lines, particularly if it's a discussion that we had earlier. Well, the response to that was, within the next day, I'm no longer allowed to see her Facebook page. She just blocked me
Mm.
on all of her social media. And I was willing to go with that as long as it was a short term, a couple of days. And if she's frustrated, I get that. But it didn't change. So I mean, we had gone through this, and I'd ask her about it. I said, well, why are you blocking me? Had this conversation, and it went on for about 6 months. And
Mm.
then I just finally stopped asking. I said, that's fine. I don't need to be on your page. I don't need to see anything on there. And then I stopped trying. Well, all those things do is build those boundaries between us. You know,
Yeah.
now you have a Facebook page. You spend a lot of time on it. You spend a lot of time on your social media, and I don't have access to understand what you're talking about or what's going on. Um, you couple that with I don't have access to the business finances. You kind of start stacking those things together, and you realize, you know what, this is probably not going to work out here.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'm so sorry. I
Well,
am. I'm so sorry. I've been with my husband since 1989, and
awesome.
I mean, I don't have those things. I couldn't even like do that. I would literally blow up like, okay, I put you on this and I did this and I did that and I'm so sorry. It would be like that with me. I just I can't. I can't because I feel like we are walking this life together. And
Right.
so mm,
No, I believe you. And
wow.
that's exactly what I felt too. I
That's
thought we were
hard.
walking this life together, but I realized that we weren't. And
Yeah.
again, once that hits you in your face, and you start understanding it, and you start realizing it, and you start looking at yourself and saying, you know what, um, I think this is not working out. And I mean, we didn't argue every day, nothing like that, but
Mhm.
we stopped communicating, if you will. No heartfelt conversations. It just became, if you will, a lot of solitude around the house, and plans being made that didn't include me. Hey, I'm going to my home, my family's home, and we're going to be doing this, and this, and I'm not invited. You know, so those things started kicking in pretty on a consistent basis. So my job was to watch the house and keep up with the dog if the dog wasn't going, and get over it. So, I mean, that was kind of where it was going for a while. And, even through that, though, my option was, I didn't believe in stepping outside of the relationship, if you will,
Mhm.
finding somebody else that I could spend time with. I mean, that wasn't even really an issue. I just kept believing that some kind of way we're going to work this out, and sometimes something's going to happen and we can get back together. But that didn't happen. And so, understand that, I said, well, it's time for me to start making my moves.
Yeah, time to dip.
Yeah,
Time to dip, time to go, time to
that's
go.
right.
And I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I would be dipping. I would have dipped a long time ago. I probably you were way patient. You had more patience than most people have patience with. The moment that she or he blocks me on Facebook there or anything because it's so relevant in this day and age,
Mhm.
once that happens, I'm like, "Oh, pff, I'm out. I'm out." 'Cause I already know you're talking about me and everybody's gonna be looking at me at different events and stuff like, "Oh, look at her," you
Right.
know, all that happens, and that's terrible. That's terrible. So, like your faith, right? So you jump on over and you get more faithful, you get more into the most high, you create your area of your life separate from her now. And what did that do for you? How did that help you?
Well, the faith in the Most High to me is the most important thing in my life. I mean, I have to cling to the Most High, because without Him, then there's nothing possible. So, I understood that a long time ago. Although I was having my struggles, and I was caught up with trying to make this relationship work. And I think, I probably inadvertently put the Most High to the side to try to work it out. And, he kind of showed me, hey, dude, you can do all that you want. But, at the end of the day, uh, you need to come back. And I'm okay. I'm really okay with it now. I mean, once I returned to the Most High and I started to spend my time in studying, reading His Word, and applying it to my life. Also discovering some things that I didn't know, because I believe this, and I hope it's not offensive to anybody, but I believe I'm an Israelite, and I've
Mhm.
gone through my DNA testing. I've kind of searched my heritage and my past and all those things, and I realize not only who I am but whose I am. So
Mhm.
understanding that, it's all good now. Everything is good, and so this had to happen in order to get me to that place. So there's no
Yeah.
regrets.
I hear you. I hear you. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate that you've gone through these circumstances to get you where you are today because ultimately this is how it had to have happened. I mean, there is really no other direction unless there's a parallel universe we don't know about. We
Correct.
don't know about it for a reason. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that, you know, what's good. I mean, the next relationship, have you prepared yourself for not bringing this into your next relationship? Not bringing that distrust into the next relationship and just starting fresh?
Well, to be honest, I haven't got there yet. I
Mm,
still have a lot of, uh, and I'm not going to say it's anger. It's not anger. It's more of
mhm,
I have mistrust. I have I have doubts. I have. It's going to take a minute before I can really actually step out and say, okay, I'm willing to move forward in a relationship with someone, starting fresh and believing we're at ground zero. Uh, seems like the more I see and the more things I watch, particularly when I go on social media, little things like YouTube, I go on there and I see the drama going on with quote unquote the modern woman, the expectations, the craziness, if you will,
mhm,
going out on, basic things like first dates and then having that date, order 10 meals, and think this okay. I mean, I'm like, what has happened? What is going on here?
yeah.
You go to have this one date and they're saying meet me at the nail and hair salon while I'm getting my things fixed, and your job is to pay for this even before we even talked. I mean, some of those crazy things that are going on. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So keeping
Hmm.
those in mind, I haven't really been in a big rush to pursue those. I've been just working on myself, and I've started to spend more time in the gym. Uh, trying to get this old body as tuned as it can get,
I hear
and
you.
stay focused on me. I don't need the drama in my life.
Yeah. I think you're in the wrong, like, Facebook, side or something. I don't know. You know
Mhm.
how you're in the wrong, like, you find yourself in the Facebook that always talks about jokes, or you're in
Right.
the Facebook that always does this. I think you need to pick up some different topics on Facebook, whatever.
Well, I wouldn't
You
doubt
need
it.
to find somebody else. This is
Mhm.
not happening. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. I feel for you because, again, like I said, if she treats you that way, she treats her friends the same. And most women who are in those circles don't hang out with women like me and vice versa.
Mhm.
And so and I hope that, when you are ready, if you ever are, that you will find someone who literally wants to share their lives with you. That's what you have to find. You have to find someone that wants to completely share their life with you. And that's the purpose of a
Mhm.
marriage, of a relationship, is to begin to learn to share. What do you hope readers will experience about your divorce, your hurt, your emotional loss, and taking away from your book? Because you do have your book out. I'm going to put that book up on the screen. It's on Amazon. Reclaiming My Peace. What do you want people to take away?
Well, that's a great question. And as I was writing the book, my motivations changed. So, to be perfectly honest, when I first started, there was some anger there, and I wanted to
Mm,
get the anger out. And I'm not sure if I wanted to. Uh, yeah, I was angry when I first started. But as I started writing and looking around and looking inside of myself, I realized that maybe I can be a catalyst or an inspiration for somebody else to take a look at their life. And as an example, I'm going to give you this a quick story that happened. Actually, when I had did the initial manuscript, I put it together, and I had a good friend of mine, actually the guy that did the forward for me. I sent that piece to him, and I said, "Hey, I want you to read the book and give me your honest assessment on it." And to my surprise, he got the manuscript. He started reading it, and literally a couple of days later, he called me up and said, "Man, Art, I can't finish this book right now, man."
mm,
He says, "You put so much in. and he had only gone through the first 2 or 3 chapters. He
Wow.
said, there's so much honesty in this and so much truth. He says, it reminded me of some of the experiences I went through, and I couldn't put it down in writing. I couldn't tell it. I wanted to say it, and you said it. And he says, man, it just blew me away. And I was so stressed. He said, I had to put the book down, man. He said, it almost made me cry because I thought about my life and I thought about my divorce and some of the things that you talked about in yours were happening in mine. He said, and I really couldn't figure out how to say it. I couldn't figure out the words to put on paper to say it. I couldn't express it. And he says, man, you just opened the door for me and you helped me just get that. So when he finally had got through the book, honestly, he came back and said, hey, man, bro, you gotta put this out there. Everybody needs to read this book. He
Hmm.
says it has so much in there for so many people, and he says your clarity, the way you've written it, and the focus that you put on it. Because I turned from anger to wanting to share and, if you will, be an inspiration, particularly for men to understand that what they're feeling is true.
Yeah.
Some of those feelings that you have, some of those emotions that you have when you feel like you want to cry, that's a true feeling. It's a real feeling, and don't look at it as a weakness. Look at it as your strength. That is your superpower, your ability to look at yourself and look at your relationship and understand that it wasn't as successful as you wanted it to be. And some of those red flags that you saw in your partner, they're probably true.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
keeping that in mind, you just have to streamline. And for me, my goal is to hopefully share this with as many people as possible. I had another good friend of mine as late as today. As a matter of fact, earlier today, she had read the book, and she texted me and said, "Arthur, I got to get this book to my son and my daughter. They're having some issues and they're going through a lot of things, and some of the stuff that you put in your book, I know they're going through. So I'm going to send this to them, and I hope it can help them." And I responded back to her. I said, "That's great. If that's what it can do, if that causes them to talk, to at least have that conversation, and honestly look in the mirror and say, hey, this is what's really going on. If I can be a part of that process, that's kind of where I'm at for this book."
Wow. The one thing I would like for you to do, and I know that this is off left field's wall, outside the box, like really far outside the box.
It's all right.
But I think that um you put it in the book, right? But what would be the main thing that out of the book that most women don't know about men that you could tell them about the emotional side of a man? Because women don't see it. A lot of men hide it. Like, I've never seen my husband cry. Well, I have, but it's been very far, few and in between.
Mhm.
And a lot of men that I've been with have been that man, the man, you know? And it's like, okay, I know you can be the man, but can you be the man? So I would like to know, like, what would you want to say to women, to kind of give them a heads up?
Well, men have feelings. So I can tell you this, if you feel a certain way, you can probably trust that that man feels a certain way. Now, the reason that man won't share that with you is an old tested and tried truth. Women, and I don't want to sound totally negative, but women have a tendency to store up those things and use it as ammunition, as a weapon to the man later on. So men understand that. They know that if I tell her this or if I cry in front of her, well, a couple things are going to happen. Most of the time, she's going to say I'm weak, and she's going to also believe that if I cry in front of her, then uh, I'm not strong enough to I'm not that strong person that she thinks she needs in her relationship. So they begin to, at that point, try to undermine you, uh, disrespect you, And then the crazy thing is, once that disrespect starts, it doesn't stop. And men know that. They understand it, and women know it too. They save that up for their anger, and I know you've seen over the years where all of a sudden a woman is angry, and the thing that can hurt her person more, the most, is what comes out of her mouth. Those secrets, those things that you told her in confidence, those things you were sharing with her to help build that bond closer, is the very thing that she will use to get even with you, to punish you. And once that happens, that trust is gone. So men, they don't take that chance. They don't want to.
Wow.
We have to be in a relationship for a real long time, and it has to be a relationship that's working in order for us to say we can trust that much. Because unfortunately, women will abuse that trust. They'll abuse that honesty that you give them. They'll abuse that showing you my heart. This is how I am. This is where I'm at. This is what I feel. So cool. So men don't really operate on feelings. They operate on what they see, what they can touch, what they can hold, what they can validate, and what they can verify. And that's how we operate. So what I would tell women is, hey, if you're fortunate enough for your man to be willing to open up and share with you, to be vulnerable around you, then you have to guard that like you're guarding your last meal or your last dollar. I mean, that's so very valuable. And don't ever, don't ever throw that out there for anybody else, because once you do, it's over. The relationship is done. There's no coming back from that.
I have no words. I would never. I would never. It never would cross my mind to do that. Like I said, you're on the wrong side of something. Somewhere you put some kind of directive in there and it just kept you going on that side.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. Wow. I want, if you're watching this program today and you have seen what Arthur has said, I want the real women, the women who love, the women who empathize, the women who knows that what happens at home stays at home. I want you to comment below and encourage Arthur and let him know that there are women out there that don't do none of that. We don't even think about it. That ain't even a part of us. Let's get Arthur on the right side of Facebook. Let's
Yeah, that would be
let's
great.
get him on the other side of Facebook because
Mhm.
I literally I've seen people get vulnerable. I'm going to say people because it's not just
Mhm.
my husband. I've seen people get vulnerable and that stays right there.
Mhm.
Like right there. It
As it
doesn't go
should.
any further. It just stays right there because that is the moment I'm supposed to be the friend, the
Mhm.
family member. And that's where it stays. Doesn't go beyond that. Now, I don't have to go out and talk to another person about what happened. Girl, did you? I don't do none of that because that's none of their
Beautiful thing.
business.
I,
That's
I
none of their
absolutely
business.
agree with you.
And if you want someone to know about something, you tell them. That was the household I came from. When people come to you in confidence, they come to you in confidence. That's their life. If they want someone else to know, they will tell them. You keep your mouth shut.
And I
That's
agree.
that's where I come from.
Hey, that's
I come from that whatever is at home stays at home. The vulnerability that we share in this household stays here. My children have seen it and it stays here, you know, and they know that when they're in their home, if something should happen while I'm at their house, it stays in their house. That's between them and not me,
that's a
you
beautiful
know.
thing, because
I
I
walk
think that's the
away,
truth. Mhm.
I walk away and be like, okay, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna do something different. Let me help. Let me help. Something going on. Let me just find myself in another room or somewhere. Because I understand they have to work that out between themselves.
So
And the
true.
vulnerability that they share, they let me see it, but that doesn't mean I'm a part of it.
Mhm. And
And
nor
vice
does it mean you
versa.
should take it and go out and tell anybody else about it. So,
What for? What's
right,
the purpose? Why?
right.
Why? So
You
you can
know,
seem like you're better than everybody?
Exactly. One of the
Yeah.
things that you said, I listened to, and I can relate to this. One of the things that happened in my relationship when I before, towards the end, actually, I spent some time around, her family, and
Mhm.
you can sense when other people are having concerns about you. They want to say something, but they don't want to talk or whatever they don't want to say.
Yeah.
A couple of her family members that I, had a rapport with, and I thought I had a rapport with, should I say. Uh, but I remember just approaching them on just basic conversations, and I noticed where the eye contact was gone. They wouldn't look me in my eye when we're talking. They really avoided spending lot of time in my presence. So it's like you walk in the room and then everybody gets quiet and they start backing away. And so I asked my ex about that, and of course, she assured me that it was just my imagination. Oh, no, 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 they love you. They wouldn't do any of that. And uh, I don't believe that to this day because I know how
Yeah.
people are, and I know
Yeah.
once you break that trust in your relationship and you share it with anyone outside of your relationship, to include your family members, um, they start making their own opinions. They start forming their own goals, and their alliances with you. They're not
Yeah.
with the other person. So that, and it's natural.
Mhm.
And I understand that, and I could accept that. I said, okay, well, that's her family, and I know that. They're aware that we're in the process of breaking up or whatever, separating and going our own way. Well, they're going to
Yeah.
back up and they're going to align behind her.
Yeah.
All the things that she told them about me,
They're gonna believe it.
they're going to believe it, and
Yep.
that's the reference point they're going to go with from that point forward. So,
Mhm.
I know that I was done. I mean, that was it.
Yeah. Well, we gotta get you on the right side of Facebook, brother. We're gonna get you on the right. I don't know what side you're on. I've never seen that side because I've never really put in any directives to get on that side or had anybody in my life that have, I cut people off fast. Like I'm of the belief if they show you who they are, believe them.
The first time.
Yeah, first time,
You're
first
right.
time. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm a first time kind of person, and I will apologize before we start a friendship only because I know I'm gonna mess up. I'm that person. I'm sorry. And what are you sorry for? In advance, because I know I'm not perfect and I know I'm gonna mess up
Hmm.
somewhere down the line. But I apologize. And at that moment that I do mess up, let me know
Hmm.
so that we can work it out.
There you go. Well,
And
I agree with
that's
you.
me.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate it because and I want to say clearly, I'm not perfect. I never claimed to be perfect.
Yeah. Who
Uh,
is?
and I made my mistakes in the relationship, and I put
Mhm.
those in the book as well. I mean, it wasn't one sided because
Right.
it's not just to get even with her. That wasn't my goal. My goal is out to, hey, put it all out there.
Right.
Put my stuff that's appropriate out there. Put her stuff that's appropriate out there. Nothing to demean. Uh, she may be a great person for somebody else. It just didn't work out for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no hate there. I don't come from a place of hate. I just came
Yeah.
from a place of honesty, trust, and for me, reclaiming my peace. That's where I'm at.
Exactly. And I appreciate that. I appreciate what you've done. If you have encouraging words for Arthur, please, please comment below wherever you may be watching or above or on the side or whatever, wherever the comment section is. Give him some peace of mind and let him understand that there are people out there, real women. Come on, let's go. Chop suey. Let's go. Right there, right wherever. Make a comment and put it out and represent the real woman out there that understands that the relationship is a relationship it's not a two-way street. It's a one way. You're going the same way and sometimes somebody's ahead of you, sometimes you're ahead of the other person. It doesn't matter. You're going in the same direction and you got to stop and eat and somebody got to stop and wait and that's just the way it is. But you're going to stop and wait and when they get there you're going to be like, "Okay, I ordered the food because I knew what you liked." Let's get those real women out there. Let's get those real people out there that know what a relationship really is and knows that it doesn't matter who's further along than the other. You're still in love
Excuse me.
and the relationship is the same. I want to thank you, Arthur, for being here. Man, I tell you, you just touched a nerve. You touched a nerve because again, the same person that did that to you would do that to me. Relationships are relationships regardless of whether they're a man or a man, best friends, female, female, where your friends. it's the same mentality. It's the same mentality all the way around. And you know, you'll if you're looking for someone or you just happen to stumble across a real woman, hello, it's a real woman. Hello, how you doing, girlfriend? You will know the difference. You will know the difference, definitely. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We're gonna put the link to the book, Reclaiming My Peace, darling. You need it. Yes, yes. And I hope and pray, author, that you do find peace, complete peace, so that if you do decide that you want a different relationship, or you find yourself finding someone and not really believing who they are in the beginning and they're trying to show you, that you won't push them away, but that you will begin to understand that this was a divine appointment and that the Most High Creator really did want you to have someone of your own mindset. And I want to thank you again.
Well, I have to say I appreciate the opportunity there, Ms. Diamond, and you know the questions were wonderful, and hopefully I answered the questions in a place where other people can understand it.
Yeah.
And I do encourage other people to take an opportunity. You know, get the book. It's not a hard read. I think it's a pretty easy read. It's going to be some difficult topics to look at, but hopefully it'll get you closer to understanding where you are in a relationship, and maybe you can even course correct if you see some of those things and make it work. And so I wish you all the best. I wish everyone the best, and I'm moving on with my piece. And any encouragement is definitely willing. I'd be willing to accept it. And yeah, and real women. I mean, obviously, I still love women. There's no question about that. So yeah,
Hmm.
if I did find a real one that's willing to move forward, I would consider it.
I hear that. I hear that. Us real women, you know what I'm talking about, ladies. Come on. Real women, step up to the plate, girl. Represent the real woman. We need to do that because, whew, you know how it is, ladies. You know
Yeah.
how it is. Come on. And I want to thank you again. I want to thank you guys. Don't forget to dare to be different. We have real people, real dreams, real wins, and success stories right here at Dream Chasers Radio. And author, you are a success story. You are moving on. And hopefully in the future, you will be able to actually move completely on and have someone who wants to journey with you. That would be a nice thing.
That's a
So,
would.
yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I'm going to put all of that information in the description box right above the comment section where you're going to put your comment. I need encouraging words for author, okay? And if this has happened to you, you need to get the book and make a comment below on how you got out, if that's something that you did, and how you got over and how you found the love of your life if you are in that relationship now. Author needs some encouraging words, and there are a lot of people out there that are going through this and they need encouragement too. Until next time, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching.